All right, Samori Benjamin here with LA Dodger, Chris Taylor. Chris, 2021 All-Star and also 2017 NLCS MVP. Chris, man, nice meeting you and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I know you're from the Virginia Beach area. I spent some time in that area, so how was it for you just coming up in that area? I know there's a lot of talent coming out of that area.
I grew up in Virginia Beach. There's a lot of Major League Baseball players from there, guys I looked up to, like Ryan Zimmerman, Mark Reynolds, David Wright, Michael Kadire, the Upton brothers. So just having those guys to kind of idolize and try to follow in their footsteps, so to speak, was great for me as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys came out right before you did, so I'm sure that they definitely were inspiration. And I know that you also wrestled as well, right? I mean, I have family from Virginia, and I know that's a big part of the culture is wrestling. It's not at all here up north, but how was your experience wrestling coming up?
Yeah, I grew up in a wrestling family. My granddad and my dad wrestled at Virginia Tech. So I grew up wrestling. I learned pretty quickly that baseball was my passion. I stopped wrestling once I got to high school, and wrestling wasn't for me. I ended up playing baseball at UVA, so I kind of went the opposite route.
Yeah, and I know that area, there's no professional, there's no major league team. You had the Norfolk Ties in that area. Were you much of a fan of them at all coming up?
Yeah, I was. I went to a lot of Tides games when I was a kid at Harbor Park in Norfolk. It's funny now, looking back at that stadium, to me it was a big league park with Major League Baseball players. When I go back home and I see it now, it's completely different than what I remember it as. But it was great going to those games.
Did you have a favorite Major League team?
It was the Orioles were my favorite when I was real young, and then once David Wright got to the Mets, I was a Mets fan.
Yeah, I was wondering that because definitely the Tides were the Mets minor league team for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how was it playing in high school in Virginia Beach? Are there any current Major League players who you played against in that area?
There was a couple. I remember facing Neil Ramirez when I was in high school, and he made it to the big leagues. That's the only one that pops into my head at the moment.
And so how was the competition just playing in that part of southeast part of Virginia in high school?
It was pretty good. I don't know if it rivaled like California and Florida, but I feel like that corner of Virginia was the competition was always pretty strong.
In college, you decide to go to University of Virginia. Now, I'm wondering, because I know you have Old Dominion right there, that's where Justin Verlander went, and also, of course, like you said, Virginia Tech, you had family that went there and all that, so how did you end up choosing to go to the Cavaliers?
I love the coaching staff. They were kind of an up-and-coming program. They went to their first College World Series in '09, my senior year of high school. And they recruited me. I wasn't that heavily recruited out of high school. I only had a few schools to choose from. So.
Yeah, I mean, and so I know there are a lot of guys who in high school are drafted and all that. So like you said, you weren't. At what point did you think that you had a realistic shot of making it here to the major leagues?
When I was 5 years old.
yeah, really, yeah, okay.
That was always my dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So even though you weren't drafted out of high school, that did not discourage you, and you still had the confidence that you could make it here. Okay, so how were your college years? I mean, I know you had a lot of really good college years. You all made a College World Series and all that. So how would you describe that, and how did your college years help you get to where you are now?
Yeah, I learned a ton in college. Really grew up a lot. Just being around some great players and coaches every day, competing with those guys, competing in the Atlantic Coast Conference, facing some of the best pitching and, just the high level of competition, I think made me better.
Are there any pitchers who are in the major leagues now who you face in the ACC?
Yeah, there's a lot. One guy, former Matt Harvey.
Okay.
Stroman was at Duke,
yeah. Nice, man. Okay, so now I know you were drafted 2014 by Seattle. So you finally reached one of your goals, that's getting drafted by a team. What do you remember about that 10 years ago now?
I drafted by the Seattle Mariners. Just a dream come true to get my opportunity to play pro ball, and I'm just excited to take that next step.
And what do you remember about you got drafted around 2012, right? 2012 you got drafted? Okay, and what do you remember about your Major League debut with Seattle in 2014?
Same thing, it's obviously a special moment, getting to call your parents and tell them you're going to the big leagues. I remember I was at the gym when I found out, and I called my parents, and obviously they were so excited. And then I remember getting really nervous because I had to drive to Safeco Field, and I was in the lineup that night. So just a lot of emotions, and luckily I was able to get my first hit in the first game, so kind of took the pressure off a little bit.
And who did the first hit come against? Which pitcher?
Wei-Yin Chen.
Okay. All right, so now fast forward, you get traded to the Dodgers, and then in 2017, your first World Series. Before that, you won the NLCS MVP. I know that was a great moment for you. What do you just remember about that series and how it came together for you?
I think it was just that whole year was special. It was kind of a breakout season for me, and my first full season with the Dodgers, and just the whole playoff run. It was a special team, and obviously having a good playoff and making the World Series. From a year prior, I was mostly in the minor league, so everything just happened so fast, and it was kind of a whirlwind, to be honest. But I was just so excited that my dreams were finally coming true, and I was playing up to the level I always expected myself to play at.
Got a couple more for you. You play all over the field. What position do you like playing the most?
Shortstop. Shortstop was always my favorite position.
Awesome. And I know a lot of guys like yourself who are very athletic. They like to move around all over the place. I've seen a lot of guys like that over the years. But two more. 2020, you all won the World Series. That was a crazy year with the pandemic and all that, and having the World Series in Texas. What do you remember most, about that?
That was a strange year with the bubble. We were in the same hotel for a whole month, which was completely different than typical postseason. Just finally, we had gone to the World Series twice and not won it. So to finally come out on top and get the monkey off our back, just more sense of relief than anything. We had been so close for a while, and it just felt good to finally win. For me personally, I never really won a championship at any level. I felt like I'd gotten second a lot. I lost high school state tournament. I lost in the College World Series. We lost in the World Series twice. So for me to win the last game of the year was special.
Being an East Coaster, growing up, what's it been like for you to live your adult life out on the West Coast, Seattle and now Los Angeles?
Yeah, completely different. California's my home now, and I love it. I have a special place in my heart for Virginia Beach. Obviously, that's where I was born and raised, and I like both places. I love going back home and seeing my friends and family, and then it's hard to beat the weather in California. So.
Last one for you. LA, you guys have a great team, lots of talent here. What's it just like, being team? First of all, being able to stay in one place, one city for a long time. A lot of athletes cannot say that, and you're playing with so many great ball players, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Ohtani, and all that.
Yeah, that's a special thing about playing for the Dodgers is where we always have a strong team that has a chance to win a World Series every year, and I get to play with a lot of great players, so love being here.
All right, well, it's a beautiful day out here. Thank you so much, Mr. Taylor. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, folks, we're back.